Congressman Kevin Brady joins us this morning here on Post 9, ranking member of the Joint Economic Committee, senior member of the Ways and Means Committee. Congressman, good to have you with us.
Thanks for having me.
Welcome from the great state of Texas.
Yes, sir.
Let's talk about some of the numbers that John just mentioned. Clearly, there is a path if the economy is the story, which a lot of people expect it will be.
Yeah, there really is. One, you can feel this at home. Republicans have had their individual candidates, but now they're coalescing behind the governor. There's a feeling the president's had an open field for a long time, has made good use of it, and it's time to engage. And one thing I noticed in the polls, two questions. Who can change business as usual in Washington? Who has good ideas about improving the economy? Governor Romney leads in those areas, and I think at the end of the day, those are going to be key elements of the independents and the voters in November.
People will say, look, unemployment rate has come down a point. We're seeing some signs of manufacturing coming back to this country. Is the only argument from the GOP it could be better, or is there a message beyond that?
Look, it should be a lot better, and the point is, here it is, 3.5 years in the presidency. There's actually fewer workers in America than when the president took office. The economy's had these starts and stops. They're all anxious for a sustainable recovery, but it doesn't feel that way back home, and I think this is going to be, again, people are seeking leadership on the economy, on Social Security, on a number of these issues. They don't see it with this president. I think they're eager for a change.
You've been critical of the Fed. You've introduced the Sound Dollar Act, which would essentially give the Fed a single mandate. Do you believe the improvement we have seen in the economy is almost entirely Fed-driven?
You know, I think the Fed did a good job in calming the waters in financial crisis. Since then, I think they've tried to do too much. I think they've tried to make up for a White House and a Congress that isn't addressing regulation, taxes, and our financial problems in a significant way. I think more quantitative easing actually adds more uncertainty. The more the Fed does, the less Congress and the White House takes responsibility for what they ought to do.
So when we heard the other day these rumors, notions of a sterilized twist, or some other kind of action prior to June, before things got too politically sensitive, your reaction was what?
Well, don't do it. We don't need it. That's not what job creators are looking for. We're speaking to the Shadow Open Market Committee here at lunchtime to talk about how we focus the Fed, give them the right role for the future so we have the strongest economic growth, how we continue to target inflation in a rules-based way, how we open up the FOMC to voices from the entire economy and restrict, except for emergencies, the Fed's role in the future. That way, they can react to emergencies as they should, but a sound dollar gives us the strongest economic growth.
You know, if you chart the in-trade contract for the president's reelection and the Dow, they essentially trend together. So with the Dow up double digits or close to it for the year, does that make you feel like the president's prospects improve?
You know, normally yes, but back home people don't feel that wealth effect right now. I mean, they don't feel good about their future. I think we're hopeful. We have states like Texas that are doing a little better than others, but generally people are still very cautious in businesses. Again, taxes, regulation, the health care issue, still keeping them cautious.
And finally, thoughts on VP? Is that interest you, or do you think that's still part of the silly season?
I'll tell you what, we have an embarrassment of riches among the VP candidates. We're going to end up with a very good one.
Congressman, please come back soon.
Thanks,
It's great
Carl.
seeing you in person.
Appreciate it.
Kevin Brady joining us here on Post 9 from Texas. When we come back, the one and only Art Cashin will help us wrap up.